Hello everyone! Today we will be taking a look at another commander deck, and this time it's Queen Marchesa. Queen Marchesa is from Conspiracy 2, and it is a 3-color deck, red, white and black. This is actually quite a fun deck, as you will see. So, she is a human assassin who reached the throne by killing and plotting and whatnot. So she is a 3/3, Death Touch, Haste, and when she enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. Now then, what does that mean? We have a neat little reminder card over here. The monarch, only featured in Conspiracy 2, says at the beginning of your end step, draw a card. And whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, its controller becomes the monarch. So you can see people will be trying to stab you in the back to try to become the monarch to get that extra card. There. But at the beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent is the monarch, put a 1/1 black assassin creature token with Death Touch and Haste onto the battlefield to take back the crown. Alright. Let's take a look what we have here. First of all, the boring bits and pieces. We have 4 swamps. We have 3 plains. A lone mountain. For the rest of the mana base, we have the shock duels. The Blood Crypt, Godless Shrine, Sacred Foundry. We have 2 of the Painlands. The Painlands, Battlefield Forge and Caves of Koilos. Then we have the temples, Temple of Silence, Temple of Malice, Temple of Triumph, Shambling Vant, the Manland from Zendikar, and the Needle Spires, also Manland, both of the Gatewatch. Isolated Chapel and Clifftop Retreat as our checklands. Then we have a Smoldering Marsh, because it's a swamp and a mountain. Inspiring Vantage, Concealed Courtyard, both from Kaladesh, Foreboding Ruins, Shadows over Innistrad, and we have a Canyon Slog from Amonkhet, our cycling land. Then, of course, because we play in 3 colors, we also have a Nomad Outpost. Right, to make things a bit easier, we also have lands that can make any kind of mountain. Forbidden Orchard, but if you tap it, your opponent gets a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token. Yes. Small price to pay. Command Tower, taps for anything your commander is. Exotic Orchard, makes mana your opponents can make. And finally the Opal Palace. Which, if you pay 1 and you tap it, you can make any mana in your commander's color identity. And if you spend it to cast your commander, it enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, equal to the number of times it has been cast from the command zone this game. Very nice indeed. Alright, next up the rest of the lands. We have a Maze of Ith. Protect yourself from attacks, from biggies. Boseiju, who shelters all. You can pay 2 life, get 1 mana, and if it's paid for an instant or sorcery, it cannot be countered. Very cool card. Urborg, the Tomb of Yawgmoth. All lands are swamps as well. Reliquary Tower, you have no maximum hand size. Throne of the High City. If you pay 4 and you sacrifice it, you become the monarch. In case it's it's just a safety button. If your opponents protect themselves and are the monarch, you can still become the monarch. Core Haven, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt by target attacking creature this turn. Very cool as well. Alright, so that covers the land base. Now we have some artifacts to fix some stuff. We have an Orzhov Signet, Rakdos Signet, Boros Signet. Then we have a Soul Ring, of course. And that's it for the mana rocks. So to protect our commander, or anything else we have, Lightning Greaves, of course. Equip creature as haste and shroud. Then we want to search for some stuff. We have a couple of cards to do so. Demonic Tutor, just simple. Search your deck for a card, put it into your hand. Then we have Vampiric Tutor. For only 1 mana, instant, pay 2 life. Search your deck for a card and put it on top of it. Awesome card. And we have Besiege the Queen, which is 3 mana or 6, colorless, or anything in between. Search your library for a card with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of lands you control. Reveal it and put it into your hand. Very nice, very nice. Cool. So then we go to the card draw. We have a Phyrexian Arena, which gives us an extra card each turn for the cost of 1 life. And we have a Mind's Eye. If your opponents draw a card, you can too, if you pay 1. Alright, next up, what pile shall we pick? We have a lot of removal. Let's take a look at that. Anguished Unmaking. Exile target non-land permanent, you lose 3 life. It's actually a very nice card. It's been played in Standard quite a lot, I believe. Teysa, the Envoy of Ghosts. Vigilance, protection from creatures, and whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, destroy that creature. Put a 1/1, white and black, spirit creature token flying onto the battlefield. And she's 4/4. Terminate, destroy target creature. No Mercy. Haha, this is fun. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, destroy it. Merciless Eviction. Choose 1. Exile all artifacts, exile all creatures, exile all enchantments, or exile all planeswalkers. Then we have a split card, Hide and Seek. Hide is put target artifact or enchantment on the bottom of targets of its owner's library. And Seek is actually the more powerful card. Search target opponent's library for a card and remove that card from the game. You gain life to its equal to its converted mana cost. Then that player shuffles his or her library. Yes. That's really nasty if you're playing with combo pieces. Crackling Doom. It's an instant, deals 2 damage to each opponent. Each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures he or she controls. Other end, exile target non-land permanent. Return to dust. Exile target artifact or enchantment. If you cast a spell during your main phase, you may exile up to 1 other target artifact or enchantment. Source to Plowshares. Exile a creature from the game, and its controller gains life equal to its power. Path to Exile, exile another creature from the game, and its controller may search his or her library for a basic land card, put it into play tapped, shuffle the library. Mortify, destroy target creature or enchantment. Wrath of God, of course, destroy all creatures. Dictate of Erebos, an enchantment which has flash. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Vindicate, destroy target permanent. Dreadbore, destroy target creature or planeswalker. Custody Lich. Whenever Custody Lich enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. Whenever you become the monarch, target player sacrifices a creature. Hehe. Council's Judgment. Will of the Council. From the original Conspiracy. Oh, I really, really love these cards. Everything with voting. I love it. Starting with you, each player votes for a non-land permanent you don't control. Exile each permanent with the most votes or tied for most votes. And Hero's Downfall. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Cool. Then we have to slow people down, so we also have some cards that do just that. Orzhov Advocist. a 1/4 creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature he or she controls. If a player does, creatures that player control can't attack you or a planeswalker you control until next turn. Mogis, the God of Slaughter. It's indestructible. 7/5. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Mogis deals 2 damage to that player unless he or she sacrifices a creature. Erebos, God of the Dead. Indestructible as well. 5/7. Your opponents can't gain life. And if you pay 2 and pay 2 life, draw a card. Marchesa's Decree. It's an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, that creature's controller loses 1 life. Elesh Norn. Vigilance. Creatures you control get +2/+2. And your opponent's creatures get -2/-2. Michiko Konda, the Truth Seeker. Whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to you, that player sacrifices a permanent. Grand Abolisher. During your turn, your opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. Pariah. It's an enchanted creature, and redirect to enchanted creature all damage dealt to you. Then we have Blind Obedience, which is an enchantment with Extort. Whenever you cast a spell, you may pay hybrid black-white. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain that much life. Artifacts or creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Ghostly Prison. Creatures can attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature attacking you. Thalia, the Heretic Cathar. First strike 3/2. And creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Iroas, the God of Victory. It's an indestructible 7/4. For only 4 mana. Wow. Creatures you control can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures you control. Authority of the Consuls. It's an enchantment. Creatures your opponent control enter the battlefield tapped, and whenever a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you gain 1 life. Windborn Muse. Flying 2/3, and creatures can attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature he or she controls that attacks you. That's attacking you. Sphere of Safety. Creatures can attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays X for each of those creatures, where X is the number of enchantments you control. The Archangel of Tithes, flying, 3/5. As long as Archangel of Tithes is untapped, creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. And as long as she is attacking, creatures can't block unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. Pariah Shield also redirects damage to the creature it is attached to. It's equipment. Crawl Space. No more than 2 creatures can attack you each combat. Norn's Annex. Creatures can attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays Fraction White for each of those creatures. And Fraction White can either be paid by regular white or 2 life. Wow, that is some serious stuff. So, next up we have some token creators as well. Some fun, neat little things. We have another god, Heliod, the God of the Sun. It's indestructible, and creatures you control have Vigilance. It's a 5/6, and for 4 mana you can make a 2/1 Cleric enchantment creature token onto the battlefield. Kazul, the Tyrant of the Cliffs. Whenever a creature an opponent controls attacks, if you're the defending player, create a 3/3 red ogre creature token unless that creature controller pays 3. Skyline Despot. When it enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. It's a 5/5 flying dragon, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if you're the monarch, put a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. This card is insane. Really crazy. Goblin Spy Master. First strike, and at the beginning of each opponent's end step, that player creates a 1/1 red goblin creature token with creatures you control attack each combat if able. That is really fun. Makes for a lot of chaos. Very cool. And finally, Elspeth, the Sun's Champion. +1, put 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield, or -3, destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. And -7, you get an emblem, creatures you control get +2/+2 and flying. And she starts off with 4 loyalty. Then we have another big bad guy, Scourge of the Throne, flying, and it has dethrone. When this creature attacks the player with the most life or tied with most life, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Whenever Scourge of the Throne attacks for the first time each turn, if it's attacking the player with the most life or tied for the most life, untap all attacking creatures. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase, and it's a 5/5. And in that same spirit, you can simply untap all creatures and gain control of them. They have haste. How nice. Right, another god, Atrios, the God of Passage. Indestructible 5/4. Whenever another creature you own dies, return it to your hand unless target opponent pays 3 life. And another recurrence, Sun Titan, which is Vigilance 6/6. If it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may return target permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then we have Sorin, the Grim Nemesis. This card is so fun. It starts off with 6 and +1. It's really insane. Reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. Each opponent loses life equal to its converted mana cost. Ho ho, wow. I was playing this in Standard a while back, and I had a lot of big guys. It was so easy to just blow people away. Great card. And -X, it deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker and you gain X life. And for -9, put a number of 1/1 Black Vampire Knight creature tokens with lifelink onto the battlefield equal to the highest life total among all players. That is just crazy. I don't know if I would ever be able to pull that off, but if you do and someone is still on 40, ho ho, 40 Vampire Knights. All with lifelink, that is just insane. And then we have Vial Smasher the Fierce. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, Vial Smasher deals damage equal to that spell's converted mana cost to an opponent chosen at random. And it is partner, but that doesn't really matter for now. Right, we're almost there. 4 cards left. Grenzo, the Havoc Raiser. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, choose 1. Goad targets creature that player controls. I always forget what Goad does. I have seriously no idea. Was it that it cannot untap anymore or something? I don't know. I keep forgetting it. Exile the top card of of that player's library. Until end of turn, you may cast that card, and you may spend mana as though it were any mana to cast it. Nice. Then we have Kaya, the Ghost Assassin. For 0, exile Kaya, or up to 1 target creature. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. At the beginning of your next upkeep, you lose 2 life. -1, each opponent loses 2 life. You gain 2 life. You gain 2 life. -2, each opponent discards a card and you draw a card. Right. And then we have a neat little thing. The Melt cards. Handwire Garrison. Whenever it attacks, put 2 1/1 red human creature tokens onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. And it melts with Handwire Battlements, which is this thing over here. So, Handwire Battlements is a land. For 1 red, you can give a creature haste until end of turn. And for 5, if you both own and control Handwire Garrison and Handwire Battlements, exile them, then meld them into Handwire, the Writhing Township. And then you'll get something like this. It's a 7/4 Trample Haste. And when it attacks, put 2 3/2 colorless Eldrazi Horror creature tokens onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Nice. Very nice. So there you have it. That's Queen Marchesa. This is such a fun deck. We always use these decks here at home to test the other commander decks that my friends make, or myself, and my girlfriend usually plays Queen Marchesa. So, She didn't make this one, another guy did. Brian, good guy. Thank you for making this deck. It's a really, really fun deck. So, thank you all for watching, and yeah, see you all next time. Bye-bye.